Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and the rest of YouTube. Today is March 9th, 2023, and we have a new banner gracing us tonight. But before we get into the nitty-gritty details of our new mobile suit, let's go over some news. Alright folks, besides of our main event and its respective step-up supply drop, we have a limited supply drop notice for the Narrative Gundam B-Packs Level 1, Level 2, as well as the Jigen Type D Bazooka Level 2, as well as the Narrative Gundam's Beam Saber at Level 2. So this is a pretty pristine opportunity to get that suit, or even its subsequent weapons if you do not have that yet. Changes to the recycle counter include the White Rider Level 2 being added, and it'll be available for 2 days from banner night. So if you're willing to run this and adding this into your hanger collection, definitely step up to it now. Changes to the DP exchange counter include the Gelgoog G Level 1 being added, as well as the Methodist Kai Level 1, Level 2. Alright folks, we have the GM Kai ground type core booster, or Corvette booster rather, from Thunderbolt. This was announced during the re-showcase of Bandit Flower as a part of a collaborative event between Gundam Battle Operation 2 and basically Mobile Suit Gundam. So this is coming in as a 2-star 400 cost raid that has a sub-like system, very similar to I almost want to say transformable suits that are able to just fly around like planes, to lack of a better term. And just like in the anime, it has its customized machine gun, which is pretty nasty, as well as some subsequent rockets and guided missiles, and literally just an array of tools that definitely makes the suit pretty fun to look at, and probably plays just as complicated as well. But this is a post 1 year war refit of the GM Kai, so it does, if you look at the way that they modeled it, it does resemble the standard GM Kai that we get all the way up to, I believe, 300 is where it cuts off, and then we get the GM2 coming in. But it does have very similar, I want to say, specs to the space variant of the 1 year war, but it is very much like I want to say the Oof flight types. It's able to engage its SFS gimmicky feature to fly around, and able to, it basically increases the mobility of the suit, at the same time putting that extra drain of thrust as well, very much like a I want to say Wave Rider form for a lot of the transformable suits, basically the MA form and so forth. On top of that, if you are pulling 10 spins for this suit, 2-star attacks of course, you do get the opportunity to get the B-Type Federation normal suit. I believe this originally came out during 0083, so I don't believe it's Mancha, but a lot of the Albion crew wore this, so if you're adding to that normal suit collection, definitely worthwhile. As I mentioned earlier, there is a limited supply drop step-up notice for this as well, so you do have a half off at the first pull, so if you're interested, that's probably a little more worthwhile. But one thing to note is other added materials to the gacha. It looks like besides the 700 cost that we had mentioned, we are getting a level 3 version of the Gyaradoga at 600 cost. So I know some of you Gyaradoga Xeon mains there, you're going to be pretty excited. We're also getting the Jigen version at that same cost, as well as the Gyaradoga Heavy Arms type, now reaching up to 700. I believe the previous cutoff was 650, which makes sense, but now we're at 700. So on to the nitty-gritty. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we are with the nitty-gritty behind the GM Kai ground type, basically for Thunderbolt. It has a specific grenade launcher mounted assault rifle that is synonymous with this specific GM and does not utilize any other primaries, coming in at a base of 150 with 50 shots and an effective range of 350 meters, half a second between bursts, because this is actually a burst fire weapon rather than a full dump weapon, very similar to the other GM rifle, synonymous with the Universal Sentry, and an 8-second reload. This actually will make targets flinch in 2 bursts, so very useful. This also has ASL, so this is not likely to miss if you're within a certain distance as well. So this is pretty crazy. You do have the beam saber specifically for this unit as well. Unique beam saber coming in at 2000, 2.5 second cooldown time between swings. It does have melee combat controller at level 1, so no 3 swing capability on this raid, but the animation is very similar to the GBO3 and the Ewok Jigen, as it's been mentioned and I've seen in the trailers there. Although with my brief time with the suit, I did a quick preview prior to us recording, the swings do aim a little bit lower. I want to say leg level, so this is definitely something that will, and if you build it for taking out legs, this could be pretty nasty. We're going to be looking at stats and what at the same time. So we have the Corvette booster machine guns coming in at a base of 50 with 60 rounds and an effective range of 200 meters. 10-second reload time feels a little steep, but at the same time, like, it's one of those weird things where they don't hit very hard. It's something else it can do while it's boosting, and it has a pretty far effective range compared to a lot of the one-year war Vulcans that you'll see with the GM series, where it's just kind of like it's mediocre damage, and on top of that, not very effective range further out. But it can definitely do decently, but not on its own as far as build up stun. I believe you do have to dump the whole entire capacity for it to get something to happen just by itself. So it could do something, but I wouldn't rely on it heavily by itself. As we go into the missile launcher, this has guided capability very similar to what we saw with the Zeku's Way and its missiles. This thing has 10 shots at effective base damage of 200 with an effective range of 400 meters, 15-second reload time, which is not bad. It is a little on the steeper end compared to, you know, other suits that have a little more faster ready up time, but it does allow for other weapons to come in play and allow you to kind of just juggle weapons while other things are reloading, because you have this thing too, the 4x missile, 1300 base damage at 4 shots, effectively 450 meters, also 15-second reload time. Based on the fire rate and the fire animation, this is basically a low-cost Baowu at this point. On top of that, as I mentioned earlier, the assault rifle that the GM Kai Thunderbolt comes with is a grenade launcher, 500 base power, 1 shot, 250 meters effective range, and a 10-second reload time, which is not bad considering that you do have other explosive weapons to use on the suit. At the same time, if you happen to be a very poor shot, it is going to be kind of stinging you in the butt for that. Jumping into the skills for the suit, Balancers has, as I mentioned, a melee combo controller, level 1, maneuver armor 2. You also have the level 1 force injector, like shock absorber, pretty standard stuff. Anti-blast, high performance radar. We do have flight control program level 3, so this thing will probably be pretty nasty in something like City Ruins. I know the clan match that we have upcoming this weekend is in Tropical Desert, so it'll be very interesting to see, considering the fact that even though the SFS controller, based on us giving this description here, makes it work very much like a transformable suit, there isn't a whole lot that suggests that this suit will not be shot out of the air. The only thing that's probably saving it right now is maneuver armor 2. So it does suggest that it's meant to be in the air, do its thing, dump its weapons, get out, wait for everything to reload, get your boost back, and then repeat. If the opportunity presents itself, obviously go for the swings. But based on what I see here, it is going to be something that I would say not the casual side of the spectrum where you're going to be wanting to be in the air all the time. You want to probably be up in the air very quick, do your job, and get the hell out, because there's nothing that prevents you from kind of mitigating a lot of the efforts of the other team from shooting you out of the air, other than the fact that, well, maneuver armor 2, but if there's anybody that knows what they're doing, or the team that knows what they're doing, this could be a recipe for a very bad time. Just because we went a little out of order, the GM Kai Thunderbolt actually has some pretty decent stats for what you get at 400. It does have a little leaning away from melee resistance, but numbers that come with it are pretty good to start off with. It does offer some flexibility. For a raid, 18k right off the bat is pretty generous, I would say. But when you look at how bulky the Corvette booster attached to the suit is, it's kind of understandable. Output wise for damage, we have a big leaning in melee, which also includes the tuning side of the spectrum. It would be nice to get some more range strength, but that's kind of the beauty of custom part slots. You're able to kind of play around and kind of min and max, you know, however you please. Speed wise, the suit has, I would say, decent numbers on the ground. High speed movement is a base of 205, but I think when the core booster is in SFS mode, the high speed movement does change, but unfortunately we aren't able to kind of see those figures, very much like what you see with, say, a mobile suit that is able to transform and, you know, sort of differentiate between its mobile suit speed at high speed movement, as well as ones that are able to go into transform mode or wave rider mode. But I would say, in comparison to, say, the GM Intercept that it kind of significantly resembles, it does offer a lot more in terms of turning capability. This is at 60, whereas the Intercept is a lot less. Of course, we aren't talking about space here at the same time, but considering that even for something as this, which is not even anywhere close to something like the Zaku's, not the Zaku, but the Zeku Zwei, this does offer some turning speed to kind of compensate for its added bulk. Alright, with that said, that is it for tonight's banner news. If you guys found the information informative, you enjoyed what you saw, any type of feedback at all, it is definitely welcome. Let me know in the comments below. Please sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Definitely helps out the channel and dealing with the ever-growing, changing algorithm on YouTube. And until next time, guys, I will see you all on the next video.